What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode number 2 of a Doubleshot of horror, where we are talking hood horror this week. I am here. I also got a few homies here. First up, we have Rich from thedevilseyes.com, host of Rabbit and Red Radio. What's going on, dude?
Oh, same shit, different day. It's it's always the same with me. I
Yeah,
do
so
nothing.
Rich is in a bit of pain right now, so we'll go easy on him tonight. Secondly, I have a good friend of mine back once again. I used to do a live show with him, a lot of fun. Been buddies with him for a while on YouTube, and that is Steve. What up, Steve? What's going on?
What's up, JP?
So, what do you got going on nowadays? Did you ever finish that movie you was working on?
No, I'm actually surprised you brought it up. I've been working on that movie for about 3 years, man, but it's always a summertime project because I always have school going on, but I'm gonna try to get that done as soon, hopefully before I leave for college. But I also have a short film planned out called Straws, which is about some guy who makes a scarecrow that eventually comes to life, based off of one of Alvin Schwartz's stories. So hopefully I could have those done and possibly some, I don't know. Hopefully that'll come off the ground at some point. Looking forward to those.
Cool, cool. Do you have anything going on your YouTube channel?
Not much, just the same basic reviews. I've been enjoying reviewing a lot of stuff from the Poloni brothers. Just finished doing Johnny Dickey's City of the Dream Demons, which was a fun one. Hopefully the DVD soon. And just a bunch of random titles that I just stumble across. So fun with that.
All right, I'll definitely throw your link down in the description if anybody's curious about Steve's channel. Sorry if there's any like tech issues. It seems like Steve's cutting out a little bit. Next we have Matt. Matt is somebody new that I've met. Wanted to join us for the show. Decided to watch some hood horror with us. So what's going on, Matt?
Not much going on, man.
You have a YouTube channel to throw out or anything? I know
Yeah,
you
I
do
just
some
started doing
videos.
a YouTube channel a couple months ago. Decided, what the hell, why not? I'll give it a shot. It's called You and Your Horror Movies. The reason why I came up with that was because my wife would always say, Matt, you and your horror movies, what the hell? Where you come up with these weird titles from? I'm like, you know what? That sounds pretty good.
Yeah, that definitely works. So I'm actually not that familiar. How did you? I take it you found our podcast, or did you know one of us before that, or
I
how are
was
you
actually
familiar
looking
with
at
us?
I was actually looking at a lot of you guys' channels, Moods, yours, uh, a bunch of everyone just showing off their collections, doing a lot of reviews. I'm looking at my collection, going, you know what? I could do that too. Why not? Be something fun to do. And Moods actually gave me the YouTube link for Facebook, so I went on the Facebook there and went through it.
Yeah, man. Thanks for the support. You're always, throwing us
Anytime.
comments and stuff. We really appreciate that.
Your channel is freaking awesome. I go on Facebook a lot just for that, not for the other boring shit that everyone else posts. This has always got some really cool things and great ideas, and I'm like, hey, I don't have that film. I want that now because of those other people who post on there.
Yeah, our group page is really filled with a lot of fantastic people. Definitely, if you guys want to check out the group, it's 22 Shots of Moods and Horror. I'll throw a link in the description. It's a very happy community over there. Very
Oh
um,
yeah.
close knit group of people. So just like last week, that I did with Clive and Rich. Matt, what's some of your favorite horror films? Like 5 of your favorites?
Oh, that's always a hard one because you have your specific ones that you always go to, and your awesome favorites. Probably my top five. Number five will probably have to be Tremors. I freaking love that film.
Great movie, man. I love
Yeah,
Tremors. I love
I
Tremors too.
I go to two, and I actually like the series better than the three and four. Like I'll pop in the series once in a while.
I've only seen a handful of episodes of the series, but that was a pretty short-lived one season, I believe, right?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, I
It actually had
remember.
Christopher Lloyd in it.
Really, that's
Yep.
interesting. Have you seen any of that, Rich? Tremors the series?
No, I didn't even know that was
Yeah.
a series.
Yeah, it was short-lived on the Sci-Fi Channel. I'd say somewhere in the early to mid 2000s,
Hmm.
and I heard it did pretty decent on the viewers, but they wanted to change their target demographic, so they canceled the series.
That was
That's
retarded.
stupid. I gotta find that.
It's been
Oh, it's
released on
great.
DVD, and you can get it for really cheap, under $15, I think.
I think there's 13 episodes in it, or a little bit more, but it's got a lot of different, like all the different stages of the graboids. Christopher Lloyd's in it for a couple episodes, and it's pretty interesting how it goes through. And not always just fighting graboids; it's fighting other creatures.
That's cool. And
Yeah.
I can't believe Lloyd's in it. That's fucking
Yeah.
good.
Straight
He
up.
plays a mad scientist.
And actually, isn't Michael Gross in it? Isn't he? It doesn't Bert's character?
Yep.
Isn't
Rick
he? Like,
Gummer's in every single episode.
that's awesome because
Yeah,
you know
he's
he
played
really
in every
became.
single one.
Yeah, he became kind of the face of that series after a while. So, what's number two?
Let's see. Probably be Chopping Mall. I could watch that one over and over again. Like I go back to the 80s because I always love 80s movies, and Chopping Mall's right up there.
Yeah, Chopping Mall was one of those that I didn't see for a long time, and then I got it in that 8-pack, and I loved it. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I bought it a long time ago by the single, and then I got the 8-pack later on for some of the other movies. But of course, the next one will have to be John Carpenter's The Thing. The special effects in that just knocked my socks off.
Isn't it crazy that movie was kind of a flop?
I know, but it's got a huge following now. It's insane.
It's regarded as one of the best horror films ever made, and to
Yep.
think that it was a flop just kind of is mind-blowing.
But if you look at it now, then you probably with the new age technology versus the prequel that they did, which was pretty crappy. But you make that now, I bet you'll probably have something better. But you can't beat stop animation, the rubber, the latex, squirting shit all over the place.
No, for sure. The Thing is one of my all-time favorites.
And my last two will be like the Phantasm Part 2 and Friday the 13th Part 7.
7.
Yes, I
Interesting
love
pick.
7.
Those are two solid picks.
Thank you.
Yeah, Phantasm 2, man, that's my shit right there. I
Yeah.
love Phantasm 2. We did a whole show on the Phantasm series, but speaking of Friday the 13th, did you guys happen to watch any of them this past Friday the 13th?
I watched Part 4, then I had to go to work.
Did you
No.
watch any, Rich? No.
No, I was not. I was laid up, dude.
Yeah,
I was
that's
not in a
right.
movies mood.
I actually planned on doing a mini marathon, but I got caught up with something. So I actually just hopped on Netflix because I didn't feel like reaching for the DVD set, and I just seen if any of them was on there. And the only one that was on there was Part 7. So I gave Part 7 a watch again. And, definitely not one of my favorites in the series. Well, I love the whole series. It's my favorite franchise. So I love each and every film in its own way. Jason X is probably my least favorite. But I don't always reach for Part 7. I will say that Jason looks the most badass in Part 7.
Come on, he kills a guy with a plastic toy horn. I love that scene.
Yeah, definitely solid picks there. Part 4 and Part 2 and Part 6 are my favorite of the Friday the 13th.
Yeah, 4's up there too. It was between 4 and 7, but I had to go with 7.
Yeah. Steve, what is 5 of your favorite horror films?
Top 5 of my top 5 favorite horror films. I knew I was going to get this question ever since last episode. But these aren't in any order, but I'm going to have to go with the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, of course. Child's Play. I'll even go with the whole Scream franchise. And probably Zombie Bloodbath. JP knows how I love my shot-on-video horror films, so those would probably be my top 5 favorite horror movies.
Awesome. You know how much I love a Texas Chainsaw Massacre, or the
Yeah.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre. My favorite horror film of all time, so anytime that pops up on anybody's list, it's a nice salute to you.
Yeah, definitely. They're actually releasing the 40th anniversary Blu-ray soon, I believe sometime this summer.
That's awesome. I didn't even
Yeah.
know that. So, some hood horror, guys. So, the first film we're going to talk about is Tara, aka Hood Rat, which is the kind of the video title, but the the original title was Tara, or Tara, and that's from 2003. Of course, it stars Ice-T. So this is another fucking hood title that he's in, Leprechaun in the Hood.
Ugh.
So this one is basically, I think you said it best. It's Ben in the Hood, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So this follows a group of characters as they live in kind of a rundown apartment complex. They have a greedy landlord. They're living in kind of the slums, and it's not very happy conditions at all. When a homeless guy who's not officially homeless because he kind of he pays like $50 to stay in the basement. Him and his brother, who's in a wheelchair, they are kind of harassed by people around the area, and through some tragic events, the lead character, I think his name is Max. He befriends a rat by the name of Tara, and basically seeks revenge after an appropriate amount of time. So that's kind of your plot. You guys have anything specific to say about this one, Matt?
I liked how in the beginning when he first met the rat, he was trying to think of a name, and he goes, "How about Ben?" He's like, "Nah."
Yeah,
I thought
yeah.
that was pretty funny.
Nice little throwback there. So obviously inspired. And, I think that's just a good thing to do if you're inspired by something, is to just throw a nod to it right away, because, then people won't have to, question how original it was. So, yeah, I like that. I thought that the beginning was filmed very, very annoyingly, and then it continued later on towards the end and sometimes in the middle.
Oh
A lot
god.
of the,
Yep.
like, effects and sort of techniques they used, I think they were trying to be over stylish, and it just came off very, very fucking annoying.
Yes. The camera work was very shoddy. There was some scenes where they had this one girl screaming, and the scream zoomed into the TV, like into the tunnel where all the rats were. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, and it's a lot of like double vision things going on, and a lot of color, messing with the color.
Yeah, when you're looking through the eyes of the rat, it was kind of like weird, trippy camera work.
Yeah. So, Steve, what did you think of Tara, aka Hood Rat?
I honestly thought, going into it, I thought, this is going to be, one of your piece of crap movies. But watching it, the atmosphere of the whole movie was pretty cool and pretty creepy if you think about it. You're in like a not too good area. Anything can go down basically. So that was actually kind of creepy to me. And for the fact that the one dude would, just use these rats, obviously there's something muffed up with it, but it was just something interesting, something that you don't see in a lot of horror movies.
They kind of did it with Willard too.
Yeah.
See, I like Willard. Willard is
Yeah.
awesome. This movie's
Willard
not
was
as
fantastic.
good.
No.
I like both Willards. Actually, no. Yeah, I've seen both Willards, and I've seen Ben, I think. But anyway, this film to me, man, it's just subpar when it comes to all of the technical things. I did enjoy Ice-T's, classic OG type performance. I mean, he's just doing what he does. It's pretty standard stuff from him, but it's fun to watch. I mean, he's has charisma. He's awesome on screen. Probably the most entertaining. I actually found some of the more tragic moments actually were a bit effective at times. The brothers, wheelchair moment where he gets locked outside, I actually found to be kind of sad.
Yeah. You could tell
Mhm.
everyone's ignoring him, and he's screaming for help, and just no one wants to do anything.
Yeah, and
I did like the old couple. They were pretty cool.
yeah, there's kind of like a romantic angle, and I thought that was um, not very good. I think that they were trying to create a reason for him to justify kind of his character changes in the end of the film, like how his character evolve or kind of devolves. But I think the brothers, I don't know how spoilerific we're going to get here, but the brother does die, and I think that could have been used as the main motivation if they would have placed it later in the film and kind of maybe got a bigger reaction from
Right.
the Max character.
If they had like where the brother would die differently instead of being locked out in kind of like a cold weather, instead of hypothermia, they should have had him like get beaten up or attacked by other people, where he can okay, now I can get revenge versus oh, you're just locked out.
Yeah, but I thought it was kind of just it was like the scene that kind of got it for me is because he's in a wheelchair is when he's trying to get up the ramp and he's trying real hard and he's trying real hard, but there's just certain things you can't do when you're in a wheelchair, and that kind of added to the sadness of his demise.
Yes.
And I thought the cold kind of made it even a bit more sad because it's like, man, this guy's freezing out here. And then, of course, before this scene, they have a big heart-to-heart between him and his brother where he says, "Have I ever let you down before?" And, which makes it even that much worse when he dies from being locked outside. Steve, you have anything to add?
The one scene I actually did like, he was and he said something like, "Shh, you'll disturb Tara." I thought that was pretty cool. That was the one scene that really struck my attention in it. Next to that, and when all the rats start swarming on that one dude outside.
Okay, so what do you think of the rats, man? I mean, they use practicals a lot, but they also use some CGI too.
It's a cheap movie. Well, not cheap I mean, it was made by Universal, but when you think of it, it really doesn't bother me most of the time. It depends on some things, like Curse of Chucky, when they use CG in some parts, it made me want to tear my hair out of my head. But for something like this, it really doesn't bother me. I can get over it.
See, that's interesting because there was no parts in Curse of Chucky that I ever felt like that. I loved Curse of Chucky, but this film,
I love the movie too, but this, I don't know why. Just watching for this time him walking down the stairs in CG, it was just like, what have they done?
I thought that actually looked pretty. I think that was the most effective CG in the whole series. Like when they, like Seed and Bride.
I didn't even notice CG in the other films.
Didn't they use like a midget or something to use a kid's sneakers?
Yeah. I did see that in the special features, and then rewatching it, I'm like, well, where does the CG come in?
Yeah, I don't know. Well,
I don't think there was any CG.
In Curse? Are we talking about Curse?
Curse
Yeah.
Curse is the only
looked
first
weird.
one to use CG.
Okay.
Everything else was practical in all the other ones. And the reason why I'm not talking is because I didn't watch this movie.
Oh shit! I forgot to mention that. Yeah, Rich could not find this movie. He found another kind of Hood Rat movie. It was actually called Hood Rat 2.
Hood Rats 2.
That's the one That's the one I kept seeing when I was looking for this. I'm looking for a Hood Rat, and always came up with Hood Rat 2. It's like, well, that's not the one JP told me to watch. So it took me a while to find it.
I was like, it finally came in the mail.
Yeah, I actually own this one. I got this on Go Hastings for during one of their sales for like $1.37 or something.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, though, man, it's just I wouldn't call this a recommend for me. It's just not very entertaining throughout. I mean, if you want a killer rat film in this vein, go with Willard. Either Willard film, the old one or the remake with Crispin Glover. That one's he's just insane. So I recommend you watch that.
Mulberry Street.
Yeah. There's a lot of better killer rat movies, but I mean this one is very similar to like a Willard or a Ben because the way the character, he's kicked down and all that shit, and we're supposed to feel sympathy for him, and he befriends a rat, and then he eventually has rats who listen to him, and they kind of attack people. It's the same damn story, but it's in the hood.
Hmm.
So I say you
Pretty
watch
bad
those.
rap.
I mean,
So
was
it's
you
like
guys?
The Wiz.
Uh, what's the whiz?
You don't know what the
The
Wiz
Wiz.
is?
The Wiz.
No.
You know,
I've never heard of it.
It's oh jeez, it's pretty much Wizard of Oz, but everybody is
it's a bunch
the
of it's Michael Jackson. Everybody's
yeah
black. It's the
yeah.
hood
Oh
version
God.
of
The hood
Wizard
version
of
of it.
Oz. That's
Dude.
why they're the Wiz. Not
Oh,
a wizard. You're a
Yeah,
whiz.
Michael Jackson's the Scarecrow.
Yeah.
Oh God.
It's like a musical too. Uh, it's
that's funny. I was
That's
unaware
weird.
of this.
You gotta check that out,
This
JP.
thing. So yeah, I mean, I had low expectations going into Hood Rat. I was expecting it to be more about like this was kind of what I was hoping it would be. I was hoping it would be like a Hood Rat girl who was also like some weird rat creature, because I think that would have appealed more to me than Willard in the Hood.
I thought it was Tamara.
Yeah,
Totally
you
different
thought it
movie.
was
That's what
about
I
the
thought it was the
teenage
first time.
high school murder return of dead awakened type. I know that film. I've seen
It's
it.
not a bad film either.
No, I
It was
like it.
watchable.
Yeah. Yeah. So this one, I mean, does
It's worth
anybody
a
have?
rental at least.
Steve says it's worth a rental. I say it's a skip. What do you say, Matt?
I'd say give it a watch at least one time just to say hey you watched it.
So like a stream watch or like a rental watch?
I'll probably go with stream.
If you
Okay.
could find it
you can
online
find
for
it.
free, watch it that way.
I paid $4 for it on eBay, so I'm not too disappointed. If I spent like $20 on it, I would have been pissed.
I say, it's like if you're gonna spend money on it, spend as low as possible. It's not something that you really want to sit down and watch unless you're doing like a Killer Rat marathon. Then I say,
Yeah.
yeah, this is a worthy title. There's some. I'm sure there's some worse rat movies out there. Um, I like some killer rats. I like killer animal movies in general. I also am kind of fascinated by hood horror movies. So
Why'd you
anything
pick
that's
this
set
one?
in a hood horror, I mainly picked because I was talking to Moods one day, and we're talking about some like theme weeks that we could do on our channels, because I used to do those 7 days of horror where I'd do 7 horror films that all have some kind of common theme. He did them before me, and I was like, trying to think of some obscure ones, and he thought of rat horror, which he did. And I was like, man, I love Tales from the Hood, Leprechaun in the Hood, Back to the Hood. I wonder if there's enough films that take place in the Hood to do a full 7 days. Turns out there is. There's Hood of the Living Dead, Snoop Dogg's Hood of Horror, Tales from the Hood, of course, Bones. That's another one I have. So yeah, I mean, there's totally enough. It's funny that there's almost an entire subgenre of horror films set in the Hood. So yeah, that was my idea and logic behind doing hood horror on a double shot of horror.
Did he
So
ever do a slasher in the Hood? Or some type of slasher movie to deal with the Hood?
Candyman,
Oh,
kind of.
Candyman.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Candyman is the shit though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Candyman's amazing.
Yeah. Anybody have anything else to say before we throw out some ratings?
Nope.
Not at all.
All right, Steve, what do you rate this thing?
Jesus, if I had to give it a rating, I'd give it at least 5 out of 10. Definitely a 5 out of 10.
Average. Matt?
I would probably give it a 4 cheese out of 10. Sorry.
I give Hood Rat a 4 out of 10. 4. I'm gonna go with the 4. I didn't dig it too much. The next Hood film is much, much better. It's actually one of my favorite horror films of all time, one of my favorite anthologies of all time, and a classic that I revisited many, many times on on VHS. I still own the VHS that I rented at my mom and pop video store. And this film needs a Blu-ray treatment. Scream Factory, I'm talking to you. And that film is Tales from the Hood from 1995. Do you guys like Tales from the Hood?
Hell yeah.
Yes.
I watched it recently and I fell in love with it. I can't
So,
believe I haven't watched that movie previously.
so this was your first time watching it then?
Yeah, and I loved it.
Yeah, there's.
It's very rare for that to happen, and I can't believe I'm saying that. The first time watching it, I actually really, really loved it. I thought it was awesome.
You know, Tales from the Hood, I found to be one of those films. It's underseen of for sure. I mean, the hardcores have probably seen it, but definitely underseen by casual horror fans and even some hardcores sometimes. But I find if I ask somebody have they ever seen Tales from the Hood and they haven't, they instantly think like, oh, silly old title Tales from the Hood sounds kind of silly, and they instantly kind of look at it as something like Snoop Dogg's Hoods of Horror. I actually haven't seen that film, so it's not a good example. But you know what I'm saying? They're kind of looking at it like it's going to be just kind of bad, kind of cheesy, but it's actually a pretty well made movie. And the storytelling is pretty solid in a lot of the segments. So I guess we'll start with the first segment, the kind of wraparound is Welcome to the Mortuary. So we have three kind of drug dealers who go to a mortuary where there is this weird kind of crypt keeper esque kind of our main storyteller. His name is Sims. They're there because he found a bunch of drugs in the alley, and he wants to sell them. And they're like, where's the shit? And he's like,
They
Oh,
always
the
refer
shit.
to that.
yeah,
Throughout the whole movie, they refer to it as the shit.
yeah, and he's like, oh yes, the shit.
You
You
want
know?
your shit?
He's like, you'll be knee deep in it, which is a bit of foreshadowing. So yeah, this guy is kind of interesting. Very well casted. Kind of this quirky, kooky, kind of fucking crazy old mortician guy who's telling him about these stories and keeps getting these like gazes in his eyes when he says the shit. So he, as he goes through the funeral home, as he goes to a casket, he'll speak some kind of dialogue, and then he'll go into a story. And that kind of leads us to the first story, and this is Rogue Cop Revelation. Somebody want to set up this one? I talked a little too long there. Rich, perhaps?
Go for it, Rich.
Can you hear me? Good.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, because some of the audio coming through, I was having a real hard time hearing. Sorry about that. But
You're good.
no, the movie as a whole, I mean, I love the shit out of it, and the first segment, the first segment's probably my second favorite one.
Yeah, because I
And
was
that's
gonna later ask, what's everybody's favorite segment, but since you kind of brought it up, I guess we could just throw it out now.
Yeah, this one is my second favorite, and the first being the third segment, which
The
is the dolls.
Yeah, KKK Comeuppance. That's what that
Yeah,
segment's called. That was KKK Comeuppance was my favorite segment as a kid. It actually scared me, but I think my new favorite segment is Hardcore Convert. Of course, the Crazy K segment. What is your favorite segment, Steve?
I'm probably gonna have to go with the last one. The last one with
Crazy
the
K.
the Jerome character. I thought that one was really cool, really trippy.
Yeah. What about yours, Matt?
I like the second one. The
Oh.
one with the pretty much the whole child abuse story.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's the fun thing about anthologies is it seems like everybody kind of has their own favorite segment, and it's usually not the same. Everybody's, at least with this film, I've heard every one of the segments be somebody's favorite segment. So sometimes in anthologies, everybody loves the same segment. The raft, but
yeah, that is
you
the
know,
best one out too.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So I mean, but this one, it seems like everybody has their favorite segment. And so, yeah, Rogue Cop Revelation, that's the one that follows the police officers. Does somebody want to briefly describe the plot?
It follows a rookie cop and 3 veterans to a routine traffic stop where you find out that the person that they stopped is somebody who rallies against corrupt cops. A beating ensues from the older men on the force, where they send the rookie back to the car. The rookie tries to stop the beating. They say, "Oh, we didn't know who it was. We'll take him to the hospital," but they in turn end up setting him up as a drug dealer and killing him.
Yeah, they just sprinkle some crack on his body, Dave Chappelle style.
Yeah. Oh my god, I can't believe you just said. I was just watching something about that. He's like, "You ever see every dead body?" He's like, "It just has crack sprinkled all over it."
Just look a little closer. Yeah, man, that's some classic stuff there. I love some Dave Chappelle. So yeah, I mean that good setup there. Eventually, they kind of a couple years later, a year later, they kind of are all reunited, and they travel to the man that they killed's grave, and he's kind of like a zombie now, and he's like chasing them down.
Yeah, the rookie summons them all to the gravesite.
Yeah.
Kind of like their just revenge.
Yeah, the rookie turned from a cop to now sort of a bum, sort of drunk character.
Yeah, he's fucked up in the head from what he was a part of all the years of, or the year of, thinking of it over and over again and what he could have did different, how he could have stopped it, why he didn't tell anybody, that type of stuff, a lot of stress.
Then he's hearing voices.
Yeah, he's hearing voices of the
councilman there.
Yeah, so, I mean, this one, Rodney King-ish, right? I mean, is that what it's doing there?
Yeah.
Sort of.
I mean...
Considering the time when this was made,
just a couple years
that's
after.
probably where they drew the inspiration.
Absolutely.
Well, the whole thing, too, with the cop killer songs and everything, how the cops were all crooked. So they're trying to do a spin-off of that, too, as well, I would think.
Yeah, and, the cops are pretty scumbaggish, man. They really are fucking assholes. And I found that the scene where they're actually beating him, the way that they use the music and, the cuts to the guy speaking about, black rights activists against, the crooked cops and stuff, man. That was really well done, and that's the things that I think make Tales from the Hood much more than just another anthology, horror anthology. I think it has a lot to say. There's a lot of deeper meaning and metaphors in Tales from the Hood, and that's why I think it's one of the most underseen movies out there. It does not get the props that it deserves.
Right, and this movie's out of print too, so it's kind of hard to find.
Yeah, that really bummed me out.
It sucks so bad. I have the VHS from when I was a kid, and I truly love this movie, and that is why that's partially why it's underseen, is because it had a limited run. Wasn't this a HBO movie? If I'm not mistaken?
I was about to say, yeah, it was made for TV, made for HBO.
Yeah, executive produced by Spike Lee.
Yeah, I'm looking at the DVD right now. In the corner, it actually has HBO home video.
Yeah, so quickly out of print from the guys at HBO. Thanks for that.
That's when I thought I first saw this too.
It would make sense.
I'm pretty sure I saw this on HBO.
Yeah, I have it on an old VHS recording. You can record through 3 movies on a VHS. This is on one of them. And then I freaking shit a brick when I went to FYE and I found it there for $20 used. And I said, hell yes.
Yeah, that's a pretty steep price for me, because I know damn well second I buy it, and it's my favorite, one of my favorite movies, and I should own it, but I know as soon as I buy it, somebody like Scream Factory will just be like, guess what, guys, we're releasing Tales from the Hood, collector's edition, brand new, artwork, got reversible cover art, 3 commentaries by the actors involved and the director, and Spike Lee's going to talk about it, and then I'm going to be like, motherfucker. Cannot believe this. That shit always happens to me. That's why I don't buy out of print stuff, because I'll just wait till it gets re-released. Because usually things get re-released. I did hear that Tales from the Hood does have some sort of rights dispute. who knows if that's actually true or not, but man, damn it, get your shit together and kind
Tell
of
me about it.
release it. So yeah, I mean, what about, needles inside of like trash cans are pretty damn scary. And towards the end of this segment, using telekinetic power, dude's throwing needles at the cop, and
I thought that was hilarious.
man, I fuck
When he
that.
opened up his chest and he had all the drugs boiling, the green
Yeah.
liquid. That was
Yeah. I
So,
thought
I
the
mean-
way that they finished the last cop, I thought that was hilarious. I really love that one.
Yeah, I mean, these cops are like peeing on his grave and stuff, man. I mean, Jesus Christ, what a bunch of scumbags.
Messed
yeah.
up stuff.
And they were the drug dealers too, which is even worse.
Yeah, they were, the cops were dealing drugs in the town. So, yeah, I guess those are the kind that would also piss on your grave, huh?
Hey, they deserve it. They're
I
good
guess
killed.
so.
Good.
Yeah, like most anthologies, everybody kind of gets their just desserts and stuff. So that's kind of what the pattern is here. So I guess we can move on to the next story, the next segment, and that is boys do get bruised. This is kind of more. This one kind of reminded me of more like a Twilight Zone-y feel to it, I guess.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I can relate to that.
Yeah. So we have this kid Walter who's kind of in a like little private school there, new in town, and we have his teacher. He's a caring teacher. He seems like he has Walter's best interest in mind. Notices some bruises on him, and right in the eye too. His face is bruised. I mean, that's if you're gonna beat your kid, don't hit
Hide
him in the
it.
face. Yeah.
Below the belt.
Yeah. Basically, the teacher notices bruises and says, does your mother hit you? And he's like, no. And he's like, what about your father? And he's like, he's dead. So he drops to the issue of, home abuse. And there's also a school bully who's like picking on Walter and stuff. And Walter decides to draw some pictures of the things that he doesn't like. It's kind of like there's a name for it. I've seen it in another movie where, you draw or, do something right, what you don't like, what you want to go away, and then you burn it or destroy it or whatever, and it goes away. There's
All
actually
same stuff. It's all like the same stuff. It's all has to do with some voodoo crap or
yeah, pretty much like voodoo shit.
yeah.
And he draws a picture of this monster that Walter kind of says that the monster, beats him or hurts him. So the teacher, needs to kind of figure out what's going on here. It's showing up with bruises all the time. So he goes to the home, confronts the mother, and runs into the stepfather. And
Stepfather or the boyfriend, whatever one.
Yeah, it's one of the two. It's freaking David Allen Greer too, which is even weirder.
Yeah, I
Yeah, this is one of the roles where David Allen Greer isn't doing comedy. This is like one of his very few, serious roles.
Very serious.
Yeah,
He did good at it,
super
too.
Serious.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he did do an exceptionally good job as, just playing a villain.
And he was freaky too, because you could see the child abuse there, where this guy would actually hit the kid with the belt, and then of course going after his girlfriend or whatever she is, just beating him, then hitting her with the pipe, not the pipe, there was like a pan or something.
Skillet?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the skillet.
Yeah, frying pan.
He says, "I'll beat you, bitch," and he's like all serious. You're like, holy shit! From In Living Color to this, you're like, wow.
Man, I think that once again, to the straight up like filmmaking, the moments when you have Walter laying at night in his bed and he's tearing up as he hears loud footsteps and noises and the doors, the handles wiggling and stuff. If any kid has ever been scared of getting in trouble about something or like wait till your dad gets home or something like that, they kind of you can kind of relate to that feeling where you're just like just pure dread, like not wanting, you hear the car pull up and stuff, and it's just like, oh man, I'm gonna be in so much trouble. And he's just, but it's 10 times worse for him because he's getting like, very badly abused. And I thought that just, the way he was just like, just dread crying and shit, but it was like, it wasn't like a bawling, it was more like just, tears.
What was also cool is they showed like the door creaking and this green claw coming out, and you hear this heavy breathing. Like you think you're seeing a monster.
Yeah.
It's what's coming after the kid, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, because the monster is obviously a representation of Walter's stepfather.
I like how they show that off too with the tattoo.
Yes.
Yeah, which makes sense, which is why he would, call him a monster, but also because he is, a monster, not a literal monster, but, and that's why I think Tales from the Hood has, once again, it has so many layers to it. We're seeing this through the kid's eyes, so of course we're going to see an over-exaggerated actual like monster, because that's kind of how he envisions his stepfather. And the stepfather does not take too kindly to the drawings.
No.
He's pretty pissed off about that.
Is that what you think of me?
The practical effects on this movie as a whole, I mean, are really, really good. The whole twisting up of David Alan Greer's body, that is very well done.
Do you guys find that slightly comedic now? I didn't when I was a kid, but I noticed now that like that part seems slightly comedic to me.
Once he's all bent up, because he's still talking and everything, yeah,
and he's like, "This ain't over, bitch," or something.
Yeah, it's very easy to laugh.
Yeah,
but the actual part of being twisted was
that
cool.
looks great. Yeah, oh man, that is very solid. We won't spoil how like all that happens, I guess. Anthologies are so hard to talk about without spoiling things because they're so short. Each segment can be spoiled like just within the description. But what do you guys feel about the mother? I believe her name was Sissy, I think.
Sissy.
So obviously she is aware of the abuse. But she kind of is like sweep it under the rug type.
Well, she probably got that battered woman syndrome. What's happened to her has happened to the kid. They just let it go. That's what's kind of scary about it.
Yeah, but I've met people like her, and it almost seems like and I'm judging this by the kind of sexual tension that there was between the teacher and her, that she kind of almost seems like a bad mother, to where maybe she's attracted to these type of guys. So I think there was because you guys seen that, right? The like sexual tension that was there. So I think that was kind of letting you guys know that like, this is kind of all the mom's fault for allowing her kid to be like in this situation. And obviously, there was definitely something there. So, and it was like she was, kind of coming on to the guy. So that means that she obviously didn't, love this guy that she was with, which is the only reason that she should be with him still. If she, her son's getting beat, is she, there's just so many levels to it. I think you can look at it from many different ways, and it depends how you want to kind of take it.
Definitely.
Okay, so that segment, pretty solid segment there. That's your favorite, Matt?
Yes, it is.
Interesting.
Yeah, I always thought it was a cool idea how they did it and how they represented, child abuse through this. And they use it through the kids' eyes and realize people are monsters. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's something also, this anthology has, I think it's safe to say that all of the segments, including the wraparound, are very solid.
Yes.
Definitely.
And, the more I think about it, probably the wraparound would be my favorite part, especially when you get to the end of it. But, I mean, going from, segments, judging on segments, you got to have your favorite segment. But overall, I mean, the wraparound is just so fucking good.
The fourth one leads into the wraparound, which is kind of neat.
It ties together, yeah.
Yeah.
So the third segment is KKK Comeuppance, and we're following a character by the name of Duke, who's kind of this obnoxious. I guess he's still racist, but he was an ex Ku Klux Klan member. And how the hell did this guy be? I like this. What? He's running for senator. He was an ex KKK member.
It's
I
What?
think
Roger Dorn.
I think they were trying to connect it with something that happened in either like sometime in the 80s where there was some Ku Klux Klan member that was some mayor position or some government position, but obviously didn't go through because of history.
Actually, you know what? It sounds crazy, but I believe it. So I guess it's a little less crazy.
Watching it at first, I heard the name Duke and I was thinking, David Duke, this guy. So I thought maybe it's based off of that guy, but who knows?
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. So yeah, this guy is living in a now. This one actually journeys out of like the hood and goes down south, right?
Yeah.
Yes. You're in
Yeah,
an old
which is
plantation.
kind of interesting because this one actually has one of the dolls. That's how they get to the story as they go back. And I think it's fair to say in between the stories, they're still trying to get the shit. so
Yeah.
so that storyline keeps going. They're like, the guy keeps telling them stories, but they're like, no, fuck these stories, man. We want the shit. He's like, right, the shit. Forgot.
Knee deep in the shit.
But quick, look at this. What? Goes into the story.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, obviously this guy's distracted. Jeez,
He's got ADD.
jeez, man, just give him the shit already. So this guy is running for senator, and he's at this old plantation house where, according to the old guy who I recognize from Trespass with Ice-T and Bill Paxton, which is a fantastic movie if anybody's ever seen
Yeah.
that. There's the old guy who's like yelling is Crazy Bradley they tie up in the chair in Trespass. Did you realize
Oh,
that?
shit. No,
Yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah, where he's like, you stupid fool, they're gonna get you or whatever.
Yeah.
The doomsayer, the crazy Ralph of the area, if you will. He's telling the guy, there's spirits in there, and then they kind of go through a little exposition scene where the Duke guy tells I guess his like agent or something. I don't know what the hell he is. He's kind of teaching him how to be fake, image maker,
That's
an
campaign
image
manager.
maker.
Yeah.
So he's telling him the little backstory of the house where after the Civil War, the plantation owner was pissed off that all of his slaves were going to go free, so he just, starts killing them all. And later, the spirits could not rest until I believe it was maybe like a Haitian lady or something comes in and does some like voodoo shit and, plants their souls into these little dolls. And the dolls are supposed to be still in the house. He hasn't seen any, but as the segment goes on, he quickly learns that yes, those dolls are real, and yes, they are vicious, and yes, they're trying to kill him. This one is fucking awesome, man. I love the stop motion scenes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the stop motion amazing.
Which that's like what's so good about it, that everything is done in camera. Like all the effects here. And then just those small clips inserted with the stop motion. This might go up there as like one of the top 10 practical effects movies
Yeah,
that no one has ever seen.
yeah, it's pretty impressive, and I think that when I was a kid, man, this segment actually scared me, dude. Those little dolls fucking scared the hell out of me, dude. They were so like vicious and dude, this guy is a really racist, man.
Oh,
You
God.
could tell. You
We
could
had
tell.
the dartboard scene.
Yeah, dude.
And I'm like, oh my, wow. This
That was
guy is
insane.
crazy.
He's just dropping the N bomb left and right, calling them all kind of, slanderous names, man. Oh man, it's kind of this is the more I think this guy is this guy nails the like sleaze bag like big time just piece of shit. This guy is killing it as a asshole, bigot, racist guy who's um. So I mean, this one, kind of like Trilogy of Terror with the Zuni fetish dolls. I think it's probably safe to say this was kind of a spin on that, right?
Yeah, that's probably why, as a child we gravitated towards this one, being that we have toys in our room, we have little dolls, so anything like
Action
Puppet
figures.
Master, yeah, anything little.
Haha, Rich
You
plays
know.
with dolls.
I love my dolls.
He combs their hair. Has a
I
little
call them dolls. It's because most of them are dolls. They're not action figures. Like my Freddy doll, that's a doll. You can't describe him as an action figure. He does no action. You pull the damn string.
Classic, man. So yeah, no, for real, that is, that's what is creepy about it. That's why as a kid, I gravitated towards that one. I was probably like, 7 years old or whatever when I watched this. I'm not that old, so definitely scared. I remember sitting on a couch with my aunt, and it was like real late at night, and we was watching a VHS tape of some Three Stooges shorts, and I was like, let's watch Tales from the Hood, but you got to stay up with me because I can't, watch the scary doll part, without you. And she was like, okay. And then she fucking fell asleep, dude. And I was like terrified.
That's what grown-ups always do. They say
Yeah.
they'll watch shit with you, and then they fall asleep, and then you're up the rest of the night.
Yeah,
You're
and you're
gonna have
just stuck
nightmares.
there, man. You're just stuck there. You're like, and you're too scared to even get off the couch and turn it off because one of
Yeah.
those fucking dolls is under the couch.
That's
Or
the
hang up from the
worst.
chandelier. Oh my god.
Yeah, dude. And honestly, I remember the couple scenes that really terrified me. One is when the doll comes running at him when he has the shotgun. And then another scene is when he looks at after he shoots the doll, and then he goes in and there's like four of them off the painting, and you're like, oh shit. And then the next scene is when he backs into the painting, and they're like all gone, and that just sent
That was
chills up
freaky.
my spine as a kid.
When they were, spoiler, but when they were eating the guy, oh my god, just those
That
little
looked
sharp little teeth.
amazing.
And the creepy ass old lady who is in the rocking chair who appears, she's pretty creepy as well.
I thought she
Yeah.
was gonna do something, but she just rocked back and forth.
Yeah, I
Smile.
thought she'd say like a Haitian curse or something.
Yeah, I thought she was gonna have at least one part of dialogue, but she
No,
just
but I liked
rocked
it. She just, watching by as her little kids are going to town, and she's like, this guy got his just rewards.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure,
That
man.
scene was intense when he got
It was.
attacked.
Yep.
Very intense.
Yeah, and obviously, if you haven't seen the film, what I'm saying is there's a big like mural painting thing in one of the rooms, and it has this old, I believe, Haitian lady in a rocking chair with all these little Haitian voodoo dolls next to her, like on the floor. And as the Haitian dolls come after the guy, they are kind of whited out on the painting, so you can see like how many are after him, which is interesting. That's something that's kind of going the extra mile in your horror film that once again makes Tales from the Hood stand out above a lot of just regular type of shit that you see.
Yeah, they don't just magically appear, which is great. He takes care of one. Then you look at the mural, then there's four missing. You're like, oh shit, four are after him now, or so on and so on. It adds that edginess, which is pretty freaking creepy.
Absolutely.
And
So
there's nothing you could do if toys really wanted to come to life and kill you. There's really nothing you could do because you would never know which toy is alive or dead or not alive.
And with
And you
toys
have
now
to go
these
to
days,
and you have to go to sleep. So I mean, if they decide they're going to gang up on you and get you, you're screwed.
yeah, man. I mean, I don't have a whole lot of toys around the place, so I do have one little Freddy like statue.
I was watching his Freddy doll will come alive and come after you. He's got that pull string.
Yeah, man. But yeah, I mean, it's such an interesting concept. Your toy like that is specifically made from our childhood fears of that little wonder. Like you, as a kid, you don't know like about like how like the human body works and how you need like articulation and like
Yeah.
everything to move and stuff. But I mean, like you just look at that your doll and you're like, what if,
Especially if you watched Puppet Master at a young age, you're like, all you need is this magical serum. You stick it in the doll and it comes alive.
Yeah. Um, Puppet Master, man. I I
That
actually want to
gave me
revisit some
nightmares
of
as a
those.
kid.
That's funny because Puppet Master, is a full moon film, and full moon's not really known for putting out like the best stuff, but if it gave you nightmares, it's pretty impressive.
They
Their
put
older
out
stuff was
movies.
very serious.
They put out movies called Ginger Dead Man, Evil Bomb, but Puppet Master was actually really serious.
Yeah, in the beginning, Full Moon, I always thought was a good, house, like a good production house.
Yeah,
Mm.
I love me some full moon, man. I talked about it before. I love demonic toys. That's classic to me. Oh, and Puppet Master, of course, is great. So yeah, I think we can move on to the next segment, right?
Yeah, which is the last one,
Hardcore
The-
convert.
which is like what a take on heaven and hell, and being
Yeah.
stuck in purgatory, and which way are you gonna go?
Yeah, it's also uh, can people be rehabilitated? It's a very deep set. This is probably the most well written.
It's very
segment.
weird too.
Yeah. So yeah, Crazy K. It's kind of. I guess it would be that moment before you die. What happens? Like this is that moment. Playing out. Where you either go to heaven or hell. Yeah, definitely. That's exactly what it is. Yeah.
It also takes a look on gang violence in society. Definitely.
Yeah, which is one of the most like awesome scenes ever. The way they incorporate the Spice One "Born to Die" song, I fucking love that, man. When I was a kid and Crazy K got in his car and he's my cat screams fire. My bullets told me shoot that motherfucker. He's a liar. Like, dude, I thought that was like that was like kind of one of my first like exposures to like hardcore gangster rap, and I was like, just like, dude, that guy's such a badass. I thought he was just like fucking crazy, um, and he just rolls up to this house and just blasts on a dude, and then three dudes blast on him, and then fucking cops blast on people. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? Everybody's blasting on each other. I remember as a kid just being like, holy shit, is that what it's really like? And so he basically is shot and sent to prison, where a woman comes in and she's kind of looking to. The government is paying her to develop some sort of rehabilitation.
Like rehabilitation.
Yeah. That's gonna work. So she picks him because he has the kind of the criteria for the experiment, and so they basically hook him up to this weird shit. They flash a bunch of stuff in his face of a bunch of black people getting shot and just fucked up while it's
Yeah.
it's spliced with Klan stuff. Now I was wondering, do you think that some of those pictures are real, or do you think they're all?
Oh, that's
Oh,
all
some
real
of them-
stuff.
That's real.
Yeah, all of them are real.
Oh fuck, that makes it even
I've
more
seen
disturbing.
it.
Scary.
I recognize them from like documentaries from like
Yeah.
history class. I could tell right off the bat. I'm like, oh, I remember that. Yep, I saw that. That's real.
Oh man, that's brutal,
I just-
dude.
Watching it, I was like, the music is kick ass, of course, but I was like, do we really need to see this? It's like, why? Like, what made them put this in here? Like, does
Yeah.
it really have any purpose?
I
Of
think
course,
it was
of
oh,
course,
sorry,
the
go ahead.
shoot. The shooting part, of course, I can see that, but seeing, the Ku Klux Klan walking down the street, seeing the people hanging from trees, it's just like, I don't want to see that.
Well, I think what it's doing is it's showing him the parallels to what he's doing and what they're doing is the same thing.
Yeah, you got white people killing black people, then all of a sudden now they're showing now age with the gangs of black people killing black people.
Yeah, and it's like
It's
you're no
insane.
better than what they were doing.
Yeah,
Like you were doing the same stuff.
And we skipped on this before, but before they brought him into that room, they paired him up sort of with this neo-Nazi crazy guy saying, you know,
Oh man, that
I've
scene
done
was great. That guy
Oh,
was
that scene
creepy
was
as
I've done
F.
I've done worse things than you. Who have you killed? Yeah, you've probably killed your kind. Why don't you join me? That was weird.
yeah.
Yeah, man. I
So-
love that scene. I think that scene's really deep.
He
And
asked
then
me
he-
too, what
and
was
then
their
they bring
color of their
out-
skin?
They bring him out and he's like, man, if you pair me up with that racist KKK guy, I'm gonna flip.
Yeah, and she says that she did it on purpose. You know, it's kind of opening his eyes to, you know, just kind of like, okay, you're next to this crazy motherfucker who wants, you know, this Nazi who's like, racist as hell and killing, you know, your people, black people. But then you realize you were just as bad as him.
Mhm.
And that is truly like kind of what this segment is about. And then, you know, it kind of all goes to the final part of this segment, which is when he is confronted with all of the people that he has, you know, murdered. And it's really, you can see at first, the reason I like this part is there's so many different emotions that come out of this guy. First, he's a little bit sad, and then it goes to like, you know, excuses, and then kind of more mad, and then like you see like the trueness come out where he just honestly doesn't give a fuck.
That
Mhm.
scene with
And
the
he
little
keeps
girl
repeating
was
that.
freaky.
I was just sitting in my room and came through the wall.
He was like, "You're in the wrong place at the wrong time, girl," and they're like,
Yeah, he's like, bullet ain't got a name on it.
"Ugh."
I honestly couldn't watch that scene, not because it was, I mean, it's just, but I physically couldn't watch it because of the strobe effects on the TV.
Yeah, it fucks with my eyes.
Yeah, I honestly sometimes had to just keep my eyes closed because it was so strong.
Yeah, that doesn't bother me.
Well, we all can't have eyes like you.
Yeah, we can't all be perfect like you, JP.
Yeah, you can. You just got to try harder.
Hey,
Stare at the
probably even
damn
older.
strobes.
So, I mean, there's so much to be said and, you know, examined and microscoped on this whole segment. I think this was kind of the one that was saying the most. And there was a lot of different. What the hell is that noise? Tape? Who's pulling tape?
Nope.
Not me.
Rich?
No.
Okay. So, I mean, shit. I think that. Well, I don't know where to go. What do you guys think? You think we covered it? Anything else to say about this segment?
Well, the white guy that was in the cell with him, do you think that was another guy who was dying, or do you think that was supposed to be the devil?
That's a good point.
I don't know.
I never thought of it that way.
Yeah, I never did either. I just,
Well, because
You know-
you do hear him say, you know, like, why don't you join me? Let's work together. You could kind of take
Exactly.
that as the
oh
devil.
wow, yeah, man.
join
That
my
was
army.
probably the devil right there, man. Wow. I never even thought of it like that. I always
That's a good
thought, I
interpretation.
always really kind of looked at it as,
Like a test.
you know what? It makes sense. So then is the lead girl, is that God?
No, she's the angel of death.
Oh,
She's
Well-
going to be deciding where. Well, he decides where he goes.
Yeah.
She's the one that's instrumenting which way he goes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she's like the
okay.
ferryman.
okay. So that makes a lot of sense because she says she put him next to him on purpose, which, you know, is kind of the thing. Like, you know, you're
See if you're
supposed
gonna
to be
get tempted.
by the devil. Like he's supposed to be there and it, you know, it's up to you to, you know, not. Yeah, man. I've never really thought of it like that. I always kind of just saw it as like, you know, he is there and everybody else isn't kind of really there. It's just his vision of what's going on. Like the girls who are kind of like the assistants, like they look out of place, right? But that's why I kind of, it has that almost like mystique to it or something where uh, you know, you don't really know what's real and what's not.
You had a scene where body bags were being carried across the room. It looked
Yeah.
like naked people, and he was like, "What the fuck is that?"
Oh, they were naked people.
Oh yeah, they were.
So this guy's attitude, you know the scene where they're like putting all that weird shit on him, like the thing on his like his penis and
Yeah,
and then
on
on
his
his
nose,
nipples and the tubes up his nose and shit. And then like he's so fucking badass, dude, that he's just like he's completely at their mercy, and he's like, "Wait, I'll get out of here and fuck you up." Like, it's
and then they're just like, "No, you won't."
yeah, it's like, dude, that would like that. Like, I would be like, please, let me go. Like, he's like, I'm gonna fuck you up when I get out of here. I swear to God. Dude's crazy as shit. Yeah, so Crazy K, man. Man, this is a great segment.
That's my favorite.
It took me a while to like this segment for some reason. Probably because at first I didn't realize it was the whole heaven and hell. But after like maybe the fourth time watching this film, like, wow, this is heaven and hell. This is really cool.
Yeah, and I love this scene where he kind of first is confronted by the people he's murdered, because it's an uncomfortable confrontation, because the whole idea of killing somebody is they're gone forever. You're never going to have to answer to them specifically. So it's almost like this awkward thing that usually doesn't exist, where he's like, oh, whoa, oh shit, like, I mean, I like what? You know what I mean?
I wasn't prepared for a follow-up question.
Yeah, and he's like, man, you were coming up short all the time. What could I do, man? I couldn't let you just rip me off. Like, but he seems like very, just uncomfortable by the fact that these people that he killed are, and almost a little afraid of them. You know what I mean? It's interesting. He's afraid of what they might say to him, what they might ask him, and when they start getting into why, you can tell that he's. It's like one of those situations where he just doesn't want to hear it, because he's afraid of what emotions he'll have as they're telling him. So he doesn't want to hear it at all. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
So yeah, man.
And then it goes right into the wraparound again.
Yeah, which is awesome, because it, I think we should leave that one alone, guys. I don't think we should really say anything about that one.
It was awesome, though.
Yeah, we'll just
we're
keep
not going to talk about it, but I have to say that was awesome. I really like that.
They got their
wraparound.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that the way that it ties into Crazy K's story was awesome, because
Yes,
the
it
way
was.
that you kind of
I didn't even recognize it.
yeah, exactly, because the way that it's done, it is done in shadows to where you can't really tell everything. Distortion of things, and I mean it I think it's safe to say that, I mean, that is one of the best wraparounds ever.
I think that's the only wraparound where they actually include the Force story and the wraparound together.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
Yeah, I can't think of anything right off the bat that.
No.
Chillerama was kind
The
of
doll,
like
I
that.
think. Didn't they interpret the doll in the mortuary?
Well, no, they found the doll after the second segment. The
Okay.
guy walked and hit the chair, and the doll dropped. He picked it up when he started telling the story about that.
Yeah, he's like,
Oh,
I got
okay.
this down south.
While
Okay,
he was
now I
leading him
remember.
to the basement.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, the way that the three guys who are want the drugs, man. I think they're really funny. What do you guys think? It's kind of like the comic relief throughout the
I
stories.
thought their reaction at the end was hilarious, and
Yeah.
they realized what was really going on. Their reaction was priceless.
What's really going on? And when I first seen that, man, I didn't see that coming the first time. I remember as a kid, I was just fully kind of like, it's kind of a typical type of twist nowadays, but back then I kind of didn't see it coming.
I like the beginning when they were at the funeral home. He turns around, I think it was Bulldog or something. He goes, "Man, you got your gat, man?" He's like, "Yeah, I got my shit." And it's like, "Well, what if a dead motherfucker come with you? You kill his ass. You understand me?"
And then
He's
he's like, they go to walk away, and he's like, "Oh, well, Wait a minute. I don't get it. How are you supposed to kill something that's already dead?
What? Yeah, how are you supposed to kill something that's already dead? That's like killing some shit twice, man. And they bring up the refried beans.
Yeah.
The lost refried beans clip, man. Yeah, why are you gonna refry some beans twice, man? Just do it right the first time.
And what's funny is, it's that refried beans is in both of these movies.
I know, right? I did not plan that, but the refried beans type of reference is also in Hood Rat, which is totally crazy. They had to have seen this. So yeah, I'm gonna ask you guys right now, what's your ratings? We'll start with Rich.
On the movie as a whole, I gotta go 9. I give it a 9 out of 10.
Solid, solid. How about you, Matt?
I agree. I have to give it a 9 out of 10. It's a solid anthology. All stories are great. There's not one weak story in the whole setup.
Awesome. What about you, Steve?
Every scene delivered the goods. Every story, had enough detail to earn it a good rating, and I'm gonna have to also give it a 9 out of 10.
Wow. Okay, so I came in and I swear to God I was gonna give it a 9 out of 10. That's pretty impressive, guys. We're all right on the same page, man.
Nice.
Tales from the Hood is one of the most underrated horror films ever. It is a great movie, and it has a lot to it. It's not just, creepy tales. I mean, there's social commentary throughout this entire film. And, I would absolutely love if they would kind of revisit it and do a sequel or something with the same people involved. I think there's a lot to say still.
Yeah,
It's
I'm just
almost
really
20 years old.
I'm really bummed out that the DVD is out of print.
It'll come back, man.
Hopefully.
Come on, Shell Factory.
Scream Factory.
That too. They're the same.
Yeah, it's
Screamed
the
out.
same company.
Yeah. Okay, Scream Factory. What the hell? This would be
They
an
need
awesome.
And,
They need to
and
get
you,
on that.
you know what else, guys? The guy who directed this, guess where he's born, Rich?
Pittsburgh.
Yes, sir.
See, that's the greatest people come out of Pittsburgh.
True that.
Go track this motherfucker down and say, bust this shit on Blu-ray.
Yeah, yeah,
JP's
so
hoping that Twilight Time picks it up.
Oh,
I'll
God.
fucking kill Twilight Time, I swear to God.
He'll go out and buy the regular DVD instead.
I'll fucking roll up on him like Crazy K. Just start blasting, man.
He'll throw some refried beans on him.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess that kind of wraps it up, right, guys? I mean,
That's it.
Yeah.
you guys have anything else to say about this one?
So if you can find it dirt cheap, pick it up. Jeez.
It is
Honestly,
well-
yo, if you're not worried about Scream
It's on
Factory-
YouTube. If
It
you
is
want
on-
to
Yeah,
see,
that's how I watched it, because I couldn't find it anywhere else.
it was on Netflix. They took it off. But now, yeah, the only way, like, if you want to watch it right this second, as you're hearing this, go right to YouTube.
Yep.
Yeah. Not the best of quality, but I mean,
It's watchable.
it's definitely watchable. Steve watched it on there. And it honestly, if you're not worried about Scream Factory just straight up fucking you by releasing it right after you buy it, I would actually recommend dropping the $15-20 if you could find it for that price on the actual DVD. It's something that you will revisit. I've revisited it many times over the years. I truly love this film. It's one of my favorite horror films of all time, and it doesn't get old to me. I mean, I could watch it every couple weeks, and I probably wouldn't get tired of it. So yeah, I recommend grabbing it if you can. And the soundtrack, man, soundtrack is pretty awesome.
Is
Like
there
I
a
said,
soundtrack for this?
Yeah, Moods actually owns the actual
Of course
physical
he would.
soundtrack.
That's fucking crazy. He owns the legit soundtrack.
Yeah, he does.
Where the hell did he find that?
Dude, Moods has like 1 million CDs, yo. It's crazy. He literally has so many damn. I would honestly say in the thousands of and
Definitely.
most of them's hip hop. I'm pretty sure like 90% of them. So yeah, Wu-Tang, Scarface, Spice One, Old Dirty Bastard, pretty solid soundtrack for hip hop. So yeah, guys, that kind of wraps it up for episode number 2. We'll see you next week with episode number 3, where we are talking. We decided to go with a classic monster, and that's werewolves. So we'll have 2 werewolf films next week. And this is JP. See you guys later, and pass it over to you guys to any final words.
Go to the devil's eyes.
Oh yeah, just go there. Just look around, hang out. Just go there. Okay, so I guess that's it, right?
That's it.
Yep.
Sounds good.
Later.
Peace.
Deuce.